Hi guys, this is Pete from The Great Games, and this is going to be our very first tutorial on how to play a game. And we're starting here with Star Wars Deck Building Game, which is a two-player game. Each game lasts approximately 30 minutes. It's a head-to-head game. If you've played any form of deck building game before, you will know exactly how this works. If not, that's what we're here for. We're going to walk you through step by step. So without further ado, let's get going. Okay, let's have a little look inside the box. We have a rulebook, comes in handy. We have the main marketplace deck where all the magic happens. We have a force tracker, which the card folds out so you can keep track of the force and whose half it is in. We have this, a pack of Outer Rim pilots which sit alongside the deck. We have a bag of damage counters which you should put somewhere in easy reach of both players. Most importantly, we have two starter decks. Which one's this one? One for the Rebel, one for the Empire. And last but not least, we have some resource counters, which we will place over there, and one little white counter, which goes over here onto the force tracker. And that is everything in the box. So what we will do next is have a look at the cards. So the best place to start is with the cards which come in your starter deck. You will have 10 cards in your starter deck, and these have all got Rebel starter, and that one will have Empire starter in little black bars so they're easily recognizable. These are basically how you buy cards from the marketplace, do attacks. These do everything in the game. I left this one out because this one actually gives you a choice of what you want it to do. We'll cover that in a minute, but that is it. So you get the 10 starter cards, you then get a bunch of planets. Now in the book, it does tell you which, for the starter game, which we'll follow through the starter game, it tells you which planets you have. So you should, in this one, no, you don't have, which ones are they? There we go, you have Hoth, you have Yavin 4, you have Mon Cala, you have Sullust, and you have Dantooine. I probably pronounced all of them terribly wrong, but those are the recommended 5 starter planets. And on Dantooine, it says Rebel Outpost, start the game with this base in play. So that is what we will do. And you also have a turn sequence card, and on the back is a quick reference card, which we'll put to one side for the minute. But when you're playing, that's good just to keep handy, just so you know what's going on. And the other deck you will have basically mirrored. You will have exactly the same cards. So you will have 10 starter cards, and you will have, I think it's 10 planets, which you have to choose 5 from. So once again, the book here tells us to have Lothal, Corella, the Death Star, Endor, and Coruscant. And then you put the other cards in the box or anywhere out of the way. And here, Lothal, you start the game with that as your base. Now, what I will do, I will run you through, before we go any further now, I will run you through a very quick demonstration on what is on the cards and what they mean. So over here, we have Grand Moff Tarkin. Now, he, as you can see, is displayed there as he is an Empire card. He is blue. The Rebels are all red, so quite easy to distinguish. The top here, you have the cost, which that will cost you 6 resources to buy that card from the central row. Underneath there, it has 2 and a little gun, which means when you play that card, that will do 2 attack. And in the middle there, it has 2, and that little square thing means resource. So when you play that card, you will gain 2 resource from this card. and the one at the bottom there is 2 with a little round symbol, which is the force. So when you play that, you will take 2 force. So basically you'll move the white counter towards you 2 spaces to gain the force. And then down the bottom there, it will give you text on what else that card in particular will do. So that one there, it says you can add an Empire card from the Galaxy row to your hand. You must exile that card at the end of turn. We will cover that later on. But that is what all the numbers on the card mean. Now you might see down the very bottom there some upside down writing. Once again, when we set the game up, you will see why that is upside down. But for now, I will turn that up. And up there on the top right, that is its health if I was to attack that card directly from the central resource row. And if I was to do that with 6 damage, for my reward, I would gain 3 resources and I would move the force token 3 spaces towards me. But this will all make a lot more sense now when I set up this central row. But those are the things you're looking for on cards. Now the central row, you would have 6 cards along here, which I'm starting to do. A plain one, which is basically grey, anyone can buy, the Rebels or the Empire. So for this sake, I'm going to put him sideways. So that means if he's sideways, he's available for anybody to purchase. Oh, here we go. We have an Empire card. You can tell there by the blue, and it's basically blue featured, let's say, but it does have the Empire logo on there. And that will face the Empire player. So he knows that is a card he can buy. We've got another. This is a base, which will protect your planet. That is why it's printed that way, so it's easily recognizable. Also, once again, got the Empire symbol on there, the cost and what it does. And we will have a neutral base, which I'll spin around the other way as the other neutral card. So anyone can buy that one. We have an Empire base, as you can see by the redness. And once again, how much it costs. And that's 2, 4, 5, so we've got 1 more, 6. There we go, we've got an X-Wing, which will face me, because at the moment, I am the Rebels. So once again, got the red symbol on there, and here is what we'll talk about a minute ago, is the upside down writing. So as I said then, the Rebels can buy the red card over to me, but, and the Empire can buy that card over to them. But for me, I can read this up the right way because it's facing me. Tells me what I can do. Same for the Empire player, can read that once he's sat opposite me and what that will get him. So that is why the cards are all spun around all different directions. Looks a bit confusing from the get-go, but once you understand and once you know how to lay them out, you do it quite instinctively on which way they go. So now let's have a look at how to play the very first hand. Actually, the one thing we will cover very quickly before we go into the first hand is we very briefly touched upon this, the force tracker, which sits over to one side. Now, the force always starts on the Rebels side. That is just a perk of being a Rebel, I guess. And as we said earlier on with the other card, that if someone plays a card where it gets them to force, they move that counter 2 spaces towards yourselves. Now, once it gets over there, the force is then considered to be in the Empire side. So they have a card which says if the force is with you, the force is over that middle barrier. So the force is with the Empire. If it is in the middle, the force is with nobody. So nobody gains any benefit from cards. And obviously over this side, the force is with the Rebels. But if you get it all the way over to either side, you get the +1 resource. So that means at the start of your turn, you will take one of these resource tokens to remind you you've got the +1 resource, which I have been known to forget, so please don't forget that, because if you do forget it, you can't take it back. So yes, so once it's all the way over there, that will get you +1 resource. So we're moving back here to the Rebel side, and that's how it will start. Now, to start, you have your 10 starter decks, as we discussed earlier on. You will shuffle them, and you will draw 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You then make a deck. This is then your hand. And in here, obviously, as a starter hand, they're all very similar cards. There's a few different ones in there. But I've got 4 Alliance shuttles, which, as we said, the middle one here is they give me 1 resource each, and the rebel trooper gives me 2 attack. So with these resources, I can buy cards from the central row for their cost. I cannot buy the blue cards, so I cannot buy Empire cards, and the Empire cannot buy rebel cards. But anyone can buy the sideways ones, which I don't know why he's sideways. I've just noticed that. Apologies, because he is a red one. So any of the sideways ones can be purchased by either team. The blue ones, obviously, by the Empire. The red ones by the rebels. So with my 4 resources there, I will buy a blockade runner, which will go into my discard pile when you buy them, and you then replace a card that is an Empire card, so that will go facing the Empire. So I spent all the resources. I'll do 2 damage from that one on to that onto your opponent's planet. Then once you've finished, all the cards go into your discard pile, and you will then draw another 5 cards as your hand, and then the play goes over to your opposing player, which they will do exactly the same as what you've just done. We'll give them a quick loose shuffle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards drawn, and oh, look at that. Beauty of deck builders, very simple to start with, same as what I just drew. So we're both going to have 2 similar or identical starting hands. 4 resources, 2 attack. So we do the attack first and put 2 damage onto my planet, and 4 resources, which they obviously can't afford that. That's 7, that's 5, they could buy that. Or if you wanted to, you've got the Outer Rim pilot over here, which costs you 2 resources to buy, and when you play them, they give you 2 resources. And you can also, at the end of that, you can exile this unit to gain 1 force. So exile means take out the game completely. It put back in the box, it cannot come back into play. But with these 4 resources, I think to start with, I'm going to lose one of my resources, or waste one of my resources, unless one comes out here, which costs 1. So I spent 3 to buy that one. You then draw a card. So I've got 1 left, so I might as well buy him. So that was not a bad turn. Got 2 cards to go into my deck for the Empire. So that's both players taking a turn. We'll play through a few hands just to get some of these cards that come out into our hand. And I will also give me a chance to explain the Temple Guardian, which starts in your hand, and it's, I think, on the Empire side, it's the Inquisitor, it's called, but it's exactly identical cards. So once again, I'm going to get 2 damage. We'll do that first. So he's been played, so I'll put him into my discard pile. I then get 3 resources, which I could buy the X-Wing, or this Temple Guardian. When you play Temple Guardian, you choose, they gain 1 attack, 1 resource, or 1 force. Now look, I started my turn. So I should have done it my very first turn as well, gain that extra resource, which I always forget to do. Please don't forget to do that, or you will lose a lot like me. So now I actually have 4 resources, and with that, if I were to spend that one and use that as a resource as well, I actually get 5 resources. But there is nothing here worth 5 resources, but I am going to use that for the resource to get 5 to buy my X-Wing for 3. So that's those resources spent. So I've still got 2 resources left. We'll see. No, he is a 4, so I can't afford him, but he's a neutral, so anyone can buy him. But with my remaining 2, I will buy an Outer Rim pilot. So that will also go into my discard pile. And then that will go back to the pile there. That will go to my discard. And now I will shuffle my hand, and I should start seeing some different cards coming out soon. So we'll just play exactly the same hand it should be. Yep. 2 damage. We'll just do the 2 for that. We've got 3 resources, which there's nothing here really for 3, but there is for 4. So I will do the same again. I will spend that resource to buy landing craft into my discard. and then I will replace him for another blockade runner. Okay, so we'll just shuffle them out. I'll draw his 5 in a second. So now let's see. I've got one of my new cards. 2, 3 resources. Once again, the Temple Guardian and the Outer Rim Pilot. So here with the Outer Rim, let's say you can exile that to get 1 force. I don't need that force because I've already got that. So I won't forget to take him at the beginning of my turn. So I do have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 resources. So I think that's very obvious what I'm going to do there. I'm going to buy the very large Mon Calamari Cruiser into my discard pile. And so that is my 6 spent into my discard. My Temple Guardian, I'm going to do 1 cheeky little attack with him over to there. And then that will be the end of that turn. We will replenish, once again, a neutral card. We're getting lots of neutrals this turn, which is good for everybody. Now, there we go. We've got 1, 2, so 2 resources. We've got a landing craft. I can choose to gain 4 resources or repair 4 damage from my base. So when I play that, that's when I get to choose what I do. I'm going to, for this turn, repair 4, so he stays alive a little bit longer. And I then get 2 damage Stormtrooper, and I will use that to do a damage well. So 3 damage over to that base, and 2 resources, so he can only buy an Outer Rim Pilot, and that is the discard. Right, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards again. You can see how this works now. I've still got the Force, so I'm going to remember to take my yellow resource. 4 Alliance, so that gets me 5 resource there. Rebel Trooper for 2 damage. So with my 5 resources, I might even buy Jabba's Sail Bar. No, I can't. He's 7. What am I looking at? 5. I'm going to have to buy another. I'll buy another blockade and lose my last resource unless a 1 comes out. He does not. And 2 damage over to there. So I will just play this through, hopefully, 1 more turn till I show you what the winning condition would be. Yes, here we go. 4 resources, which he will buy a blockade runner as well. And so he will replace him for another Kaldor Mystic. So they've all been spent. And the Headhunter, if your opponent has a capital ship in play, draw 1. I do not have a capital ship in play as yet, so he did not draw 1, but he does 2 damage. Now this has already got 2, 4, 6, 7 damage on it. So 2 more will put it up to 8, which is its life. So that will kill or blow up the first planet. So that's gone. And then you get to choose another planet for your second one. They all have different benefits. Some have lower life, like the 10 one here has only a 10 life, but when you reveal Mon Cala, you purchase a rebel or neutral card from the Galaxy row for free and add it to your hand, so not to discard. So if I was to play him, I take anyone for free and that goes into my hand straight away. Or you can have one with a bit more life for 16 life down here. And when your opponent discards a card from the hand during your turn, deal 2 damage to their base. So if to have that one out, you would then want to be getting cards which makes your opponent discard cards, and you also deal 2 damage. So it depends what planet you want. As to what tactic you're going for in your game, let's go for that one just as a demonstration. So we'll play Mon Cala. So as soon as I reveal that, I purchase a card, a neutral or a rebel. It goes straight to my hand, so that will go into my hand here. Now my hand has 1, 2, 3 for my draw. So I would then shuffle these up, 4, 5, and this one is obviously into my hand. So this round I will actually start with 6 cards. Then another good example of the ship, what they do, they come out and they sit in front of your planets and they defend your planets. So the opponent cannot attack your planet while a ship is sat in front of you. They have to attack that ship first. So your planet is safe for a little bit, well, an extra 10 damage. This is going to be a big hitting one because I've got Jabba's Sail Barge, which when I play it, I add a bounty hunter from your discard pile to your hand, which I don't believe I have got a bounty hunter in my discard pile. I do not, which is a shame. Now it will say on there bounty hunter, like here it says scoundrel officer. So if you have a card which says bounty hunter in your hand, you'd want to play that. You'd want to have that one in your deck as well, because that is where they will synergize together. But anyway, here he damage 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, which we only actually need. Oh, we only actually need to do 5 damage, but that is okay. So what I'm going to do, to play this, I'll play those 2 first. If the force is with you, draw 1 card with the X-Wing. So I draw a card, so I get another blockade runner. Very good hand. I would then, with that 5 damage, put 5 onto that to kill his base. So let's just see what one comes out next, and that's going to be his base. And that is when your turn begins, look at the top 2 cards of the Galaxy deck, place 1 on top of the deck and discard the other. That's a nice planet to have. So those have been spent and attacked. That one's not been used yet, so that is 4 damage, which I will actually use that one as an attack as well for 5 damage, which means I can attack this central card here, which is a reward that will give me 3 extra, where's the discard pile? Put discard pile over there. That will give me 3 extra resources to buy something. So just to remind me I've done that, I will put 3 on there. I've also got 3 for playing it as well as the attack. So I'll keep that card out there to remind me of 3. So I've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then my ships here, 8 and 9. Got 9 resources. I could buy Kaldor for 2. I'll buy Quarren as well for 4. So that's put me up to 6. Oh, I would have liked her, but I've just run out. So, but I will also buy that one for 9. So that is my 9 resources spent. So that is that card done the attack. He will do... No, he hasn't done the attack because I was attacking... No, I have done the attack because I killed that one off for 5. Whew. A lot to keep up with here. And I think I used him to do the 5. So they're done. Done the resource on them. And then 3 attack, 4 attack, 5 attack straight onto his base. So that was a very, very big hand. Now your ships stay there. The resources have been used. All of these in my discard. That's the end of the hand. So that was a very good hand because that killed off the enemy's base. Brought a new one out. Done a bit more damage to that. I've killed off cards in the central row. I've pretty much done everything you can do in that game now. So we'll do one more hand. He should be in my discard because he was bought. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is the last hand we'll do now, just to see if anything fun happens here. Which we have 1, 2 resources, 2 attack. Oh, I can repair damage, which I think I will because he's gained 4 resources or repair damage. Let's try and keep him alive a bit longer. So that has been done. 2 resources, 2 attack, and I will go that one to take the force away. So the next time I won't start with that extra force token, and he will buy Kaldor with his 2 resources to replenish it. Oh, for a B-wing for the rebel side. And 2 damage will come over, and I'll put it on, try and get rid of this big ship here, because he's doing 3 damage every single turn he is out there. And they will go into the discard. So that is pretty much it. Now the win conditions of the game is once you've destroyed 3 planets, which we've both destroyed 1 each, but once the third, obviously if I destroyed that one, as soon as that 3rd planet is destroyed, that's the end of the game, and whoever is obviously still alive wins. So that is very simply Star Wars deck building game. I hope I've explained this as well as I could. Anyway, if you have any questions, or if I've done anything wrong and you want to tell me off, please mention in the comments. But yeah, I hope you can get this game. We absolutely love playing it. We've played it numerous times now. It's a lot of replayability, like any deck builder. Every game is different. So yeah, go check it out. It's around the 30, in between 30 and 35 pound mark. I think you can get hold of it. Might be a bit cheaper now. It's been out for a few months. But yeah, go check it out, guys. Really good fun. Great theme. Excellent play. Thanks for watching. And yeah, comment if I've missed anything. Thanks a lot.